Hey guys, today with the topic, attraction is everything. And what do I want to go straight out with it? What I hear overall always after that went apart with the ex are such things as, how should she ever love me again, she is cold as ice to me, something should have been done before, I don't understand her anymore and so on. Critics tell me that I should have made more effort during the relationship and talked more, and besides, that's all nonsense anyway, true love exists and if someone ruins it, then he's just stupid and it doesn't belong to him any other way. Joa, these are all statements that are right on a certain level and from a certain point of view and altogether in the overall context then again not, or can be explained differently. I don't even have to go into every single point, because the fact is that attraction governs all of it. If you do not know exactly how I interpret attraction and what I mean exactly with it, is no shame, how should you know it? Then watch my video Attraction and Attachment. There I explain it exactly and please write a comment only when you know it exactly. Discussing with wrong facts and assumptions is not very conducive. So attraction is what you have to feel for a person to be able to love him. And I don't mean the feeling of love that you feel for a good buddy, your dog or your soccer team but the romantic love that makes your heart pound and makes you act irrationally. In the beautiful way, at that moment, oh it doesn't matter with romantic everyone should have understood that. Without attraction, no feelings. This counts for the beginning of a relationship as for the end of a relationship and if the attraction comes back after a breakup, you can feel it again. Now this is explained quite simply but let's go through the scenarios. Beginning of a relationship. Do you even want a relationship if you don't find your counterpart physically attractive, feel invisibly attracted to her, absorb her scent and want to make her smile? By wanting to be close to her and talk for hours? No, why should you? Why should you develop feelings for someone like that? Because she might want something from you? Sorry but then you are desperate and your feelings end after you wake up next to her in the morning. If you as men do not want to stay next to her after a night together or ask yourself if this is the right thing to do right now, then you did not think with your head and the attraction is not very high. With women this is just as bad, but there I cannot speak from experience. What I can speak from experience, however, is that women act on the feelings they have at that moment. And since nowadays they have more options than men, most of such actions depend on the attraction to a man. And women sometimes don't know themselves well enough to know what they need. Most of the time they tell, even after the fact or otherwise, what they want. And they would probably act the same way, if their feelings wouldn't sometimes put a mad crimp in their plans. For example, when a man stands in front of them who appeals to them in every fiber of their being. And what can be said against that? The fact that they want the best option for themselves is only an advantage for us, because it is usually the best version of us that we are capable of being. Let's go one step further. Into the relationship. The subject of attraction. It is up to us men to keep the attraction high by our behavior actively and passively. If we don't do that, logically it sinks and comes either abruptly when we fuck up or in the long run when we are not ourselves or the one they need. So their best option and living up to the potential they felt in us to begin with. Sensed. Feelings and attraction were important for that. And now they are important for the relationship to last. Communication and the will to keep it going are also very close behind. But without attraction both are worthless. Because without feelings there is no sense for the woman to work on the relationship. She sees no future together with you. It is not her intention, it is simply no longer possible. This whole certainty that you are no longer the right one accompanies her in the morning when she brushes her teeth and only stops when she falls asleep, if at all. So without attraction for her, you are someone who has chained herself to her foot and is gradually pulling her down even though you would actually like nothing more than to straighten everything out. Only then you don't understand the attraction. For example, you can talk about attraction as much as you want, even within the relationship. It is possibly only accessory if you have no idea about it. Intuitively, you perceive their moods of course and with very self-confident and reflective women, you get the truth sometimes really slammed to the head. This is in my eyes also the optimum, if you can talk about feelings and problems at any time and there are no limits within the relationship where you have to fear not to be accepted. But, it is still far from being said that woman needs what woman says in conversations. What did I read in a comment the other day? Women often try to bring about change through subtle hints. I found that very apartment. There are also so many reasons in their eyes not to address everything directly. The most important one here, they don't know in some cases. They don't know why they feel what they feel, and that's perfectly okay. For example, it took me 4 months too that I was actually angry at myself and not my ex. The feeling was intangible and so buried by emotion that I couldn't address it. It's a shitty example now because you always feel that way when you have a breakup, but that in slimmed down form comes in all sorts of shapes and forms. Sometimes you don't know what you feel or why you feel it. You have to start from that and maybe look at what works rather than what madam wants to tell you through the flower. Sure, if it comes openly on the table and she stands behind it, is always worth a try in a relationship, if your partner gives you already solution proposals. But whether you increase or decrease attraction, you'll find out with time and is mostly entirely up to you. At the end of a relationship you can usually say why it failed, and yes, it's usually because after the loss of attraction you became estranged, the feelings are not there anymore, or someone messed up in such a way that you can't trust each other anymore. And guess what? Loss of trust is the same as loss of attraction. It's not fundamentally the same. You can love someone you don't trust, but not in the same way, and most of the time the loss of trust is preceded by a strong attachment and long time together. Trust and respect, along with attraction, are in my opinion the strongest indicators that a relationship will last. If you lose one, you usually gradually lose the other two. Attraction can be the only one to fall and keep the other two. Whereby, however, it depends on your behavior during the breakup. How often do people cross personal boundaries or not accept reality after a breakup? How often can they not put themselves in their counterpart's shoes and see that there is simply nothing for them right now? After a breakup, attraction is also the point that must rise again. For this, their interest in you must increase and you must become version 2.0 of you or be on the way to it. You should not actively show her that, because that comes on and kills the interest quickly again. If it was there once and you have a attachment that you can sort of refer to, then the attraction to you will come back the moment she misses your presence on certain triggers. Even if it's just a song on the radio that you used to listen to together. It's a lot of little things and eventually the message comes. If this is positive, there is usually more interest and a first meeting. If both of you are having fun, your physical presence comes back, which she misses, because she found it attractive before and just couldn't feel anything about it before. And sometime when you have done everything right attraction-wise, you both still want each other, then it will be something again, and no one can say shit like, taking back the ex is nonsense, because there was a reason for it, blah blah blah. The reason you have cleared out of the world, otherwise I promise you that ends again just like before, and that was shit for you. You have to do something about it. You had to do that during the dating, where probably everything went like clockwork. You had to do that within the relationship, already not so good, and you have to do that even more now. Whether for her or for the next, because you increase your value and your general attraction to women with it. And no woman can tell me that she would reject the same guy, whom she would have taken anyway, in well-groomed, sporty, integrity and with a 0 more on the account. What disadvantages would she have? More security, more beautiful moments and, oh well, higher attraction. Take care, and until the next video.